Hi everyone, this is Gail. Welcome to my channel. Today I would like to share with you my design team project for Caroline's Craft Tree. And I chose to use the Hummingbird digital set, and it is so beautiful. And of course, I love hummingbirds, so it was right up my alley. I decided to make a staggered journal. I saw both Rachel from Roxy's Creations and her sister Sarah make these, and mine really follows the format more of Sarah and how she did it. And for this, I will be doing a tutorial afterwards, and I will tell you that this uses file folders. Now, you probably don't have to use file folders. That's what Sarah used, and that's what I used. But I will say it's rather stiff. So you might be able to get away with just some heavy cardstock, maybe some heavy craft cardstock, or whatever color you prefer. Anyhow, let's get started. So the cover has some die cuts. This is a new die cut I had gotten, and I was not able to get it to work well initially. So I decided to give it a whirl again with my Gemini, and it worked great. And then underneath this is actually a small version of some of the wallpaper from wallpaper set either 1 or 2 from Caroline Craft Trees. So you want to check those out. They are beautiful. Okay, then next I have some cheesecloth that I dyed that's a little bit like a little burgundy lavender color. 2 buttons to match. And then underneath, the paper is almost like it's kind of not really a cardstock, um, maybe more like an art paper. And then again, this is a cheesecloth, but it's a much finer weave, so it stays together a little bit better. It's kind of cool. And then, of course, one of the digis from the kit. And then over here, of course, I put some die cuts and the cute little butterfly and some little bling. So that's the cover. Now, what I did was it's 5, then 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7. Okay, so if you're planning on doing this project with me, you're going to need 2 file folders if you plan on using file folders. Or then, obviously, you'll have to use some cardstock, and I would say 4 pieces of cardstock then. Okay, so let's take a look inside. Okay, so down here on the first page, I've made a little cluster with some bling. These are old, and I know they kind of look more like peacock coloring. And the little charm says peace. Let me see if I can move my lighting a little bit here, or even turn it off. Oh, that might be too dark. Let's see. Oop, how's that? Is that okay? Let's try that. Anyhow, so then we have one of the pages from the kit, and the page, when I printed it with my printer, the best way that I could get it to print, I still had to sort of cut up the page a little bit. So I decided, why not make this a little tuck then, since I had to cut it. And then down here, another little pocket. And in that pocket, this is a little tiny card. And you can journal on the back if you write small. And then here, This is one of the envelopes, and I feel like I'm getting now a glare here. Okay, so with the envelope, inside then is one of the little journaling cards. And again, you can write on the back. So then that tucks right up in here. Okay, and then this little cluster has several layers. There's sorry, there's some vintage trim, there's some more ribbon, there's the bow, yeah, several layers. Okay, let's see if we can get that glare off. Okay, so now this is another one of the pages, and again, I just had to cut the page down a little bit. So I fussy cut, I made 2 copies and fussy cut, and so created a tuck. Here's another one of the journaling cards, which you can write on. Added a little flower. Let's see if we can get that to show up. I guess I need to add the light back. Just not going to get it right, am I? Sorry. Okay, and then up here, this is one of the quotes from her kit, and it says, "Neither the hummingbird nor the flower wonder how beautiful it is." So cute. So, since these are actually holders or tucks for a journaling card, I put a little pull on it, a tab, to make it easier to get it in or out. And as you can see, I put some tea stained paper on the back, and then it just tucks in and out here. Usually fairly easily, but probably on screen not going to do that. And these were 2, I guess, bookmarks or tucks that you could use from the kit. So now this page, sorry about all the movement here, I'll try to calm down. This page is actually an envelope, so it's a recycled old vintage, not vintage at all actually, old envelope that had come with a bill or something in it. And so I used one of the pages, cut the window, added some die cuts and a little butterfly, and then made a journaling card. And this is actually using the front of one of the envelopes. So you see I did a little bit of stamping on the journaling card, and you see you can, it's a light colored craft, and boom, then the picture fits right down in there so you can see the bird. So pretty cool. And this on the dangle is actually a teensy tiny tag I had. And I had these teensy tiny bird pictures, and I thought it fit in really well. Next page is, let me move that out of the way. I actually printed 2 of this page in the kit. It's one of the journaling pages. So I printed 2, and on this one I backed it with the page that you can continue to print to make the back of the pages for a journal, if that makes sense. And I just sewed it in, and I also zigzagged around the edge because, oh, what do we have here? We have a pocket, and again, an envelope. And in the envelope, we have a little journaling card. And again, you can write on the back of the journaling card. Now, I just left this on regular paper. I did not use cardstock or heavy paper because with the way the pages are made out of the manila folder, I felt like it would become too thick and cumbersome if I did that. So I tried to keep everything pretty flat and not bulky. And here again is another envelope. and I'll get it. There, crooked. Envelope and journaling card. These birds are just so stunning. Really love this page. The birds are beautiful, and so is the daffodil, which my daffodils bit the dust finally because we had frost. Go figure. Okay, now over here, I had to do one of my belly bands that I love doing, and one of my envelopes, which has tracing paper over top of an Edith Holden page that is usually in the index of the book. So, this is a stamp that I made out of uh, a picture that I had gotten off of Pinterest, I believe. And then I stamped it to make it look like a real life stamp. This is the quote again, neither the hummingbird nor the flower wonder how beautiful it is. And then up here on the belly band, with brave wings she flies, it says. And this right here is a little tiny journaling card. I'm not going to pull it out to save time. But sorry about the sniffling. Allergy season, and I definitely have them. And I still have the allergic reaction on my hands to go with it. Okay, so this little charm says love. These little charms, by the way, came from my friend Suzanne. Thank you very much, Suzanne, if you're watching. So what I did here was underneath this is sort of a ribbon, and it was a pink and a light green. It was actually very pretty, but it was kind of flimsy. So then over top of it, I put one that had sort of a lime green background and roses printed on it. And then over top of that, I put this little shiny, twinkly netting. And then I put everything else on. I fussy cut the birds from some of the pages in the kit, and then I backed them. I don't know if you can see, just back them with a little bit of cardstock, give them a little bit more heft, and then it makes them look a little more 3D, I think. Then these little circles come in the kit, and I put some glossy accents on them to give them a little bit of pizzazz. And then I, of course, put some buttons on here, teensy tiny buttons, and of course some beads around the buttons just to give it a little bling bling. So very fun doing those belly bands. So much fun. Now, underneath the belly band is yet another page for journaling. Um, all the pages have the beautiful hummingbirds, of course. Okay, so this page is one of the pages from the kit. Let me see if I can show it to you. It's this page. So weird. Check out the difference in the coloring between this, which is from my laser printer, and this, which comes from my inkjet. Of course, this is a bigger size, obviously. This is the full page, and this is the half. But quite an incredible difference in coloring, just depending upon the printer that you use. So both of mine are HPs. So I don't know. This is a little label that is from, oh, I can't remember, another kit that I have. I usually don't like to use anything but the materials from the designer when I make a kit for someone. So, added some vintage trim here. I know I've seen other people use the same trim, but I'm telling you, I have had this trim. It's probably as old as my daughter. This little thing actually came in a big tube of buttons that I got from a recycling shop a couple months back. And I don't know, but I thought it kind of worked as a closure. The ribbon trim was about this wide, and I cut it and then I ruffled it. It has little birds on it. Can't really tell once it's ruffled. And of course, these are brads. This just lifts off. Watch, it's not going to just lift off. Oh, there we go. It did. And inside, you can, of course, see the papers are wonderful Edith's. And I have made a little booklet from, these are again the journaling pages, but they are the smaller version. And so that's the cover. And here we go. Here's another page. Another. Another. There's the center. There's that wonderful page I love so much. There's this one. And this one I love as well, the roses. This one is just so gorgeous. And there's another. Now, the reason I have lace on here, and I use tiny trim, is because for some reason I could not get these two pages to line up perfectly when I printed them off. I tried and I gave up. So I had a little white strip there. So I thought, camo with some lace. So that's what I did. And I don't think anyone would know unless I told you. So a little booklet for journaling there. And we'll put that away. Put this down. Try to get this. Yeah. I said try, didn't I? Okay, there we go. And this side I really didn't add anything to on the envelope. I just thought her pages said it all. Truthfully, and with the lace trim and the little dangle, I thought that was enough. So I liked this side up better as a backdrop for the belly band. And so there you go. And it totally covers up the page underneath. So once you pull it out, ta-da, there you have more journaling. Okay. Then over here, again, another one of the journaling pages. And I watched Angela Kerr make this envelope while I was working on another page, and I thought, I'm going to give that a whirl. So I did. The quote here says, "Live life like a hummingbird." So I added the quote, some fussy cuts, a little bling bling, and it kind of looks like the hummingbird's going in for a drink. Now behind it, I did use one of the tags, and I did back it with some of the file folder to give it a little stiffness. Whoops, poked out. Now this opens up this way, and here I added a little tuck spot, and again the little journaling card. And here on this side, another little tuck spot with another little journaling card. Here, this is one of the little pockets, and the tag, that's the same tag as this one actually. And again, I backed it to give it a little heft. This flips up, and here, before we move on, here yet is that pocket again, and another pretty tag. Those hummingbirds are so gorgeous. And this flips down. Okay, so up in here, this, I could tuck probably two things in there. Another one of the beautiful journaling cards. Love these colors. Of course, lavender is my favorite. Then down here, we have yet another of the journaling cards. Really cute. Really pretty. Okay. And again, I didn't overload this because I didn't want it to get too thick. And then here, I don't know if you can tell, but that paper is lined. Maybe you can catch it a little bit. I don't know. That glare isn't great today. Anyhow, so you can write there. Okay, so let's close her back up. And there we go. Then onto this page. This pocket is actually one, the pocket and the tag, I actually made while I watched Gina from the Firefly Studios make some. And I did make a bunch when I made these. This is just a book page and cut as a pocket and decoupaged with some cheesecloth and a little word bloom, die cuts here and a little bling bling. And this tag, as you can see, has create, some bling, little cheesecloth, another little die cut. Cool way to do the tags, I thought, as a tab. So there we go. You actually take the tag, whoops, there it is, the little tag, bend it over the page, add a little tie, and voila, there you are. And this is one of the tags and pockets that I use my gold thread on. So, and again, that is decoupaged. When I remembered that this had hummingbirds on it, I thought it was perfect to use in this kit. And that is it. I did not choose to put anything on the back because I thought that might catch on things. Now, let me show you the spine. It actually is holding together quite fine. However, Sarah had, when she made hers, actually used a strip of cloth there. And you might want to do that if you're afraid that it's not going to hold together well. So there she is. Now, let's do the first step of the tutorial. Okay? So, again, I'm using file folders, and I need two. Okay? Now, I have this wonderful gadget that's called an all-in-one, which I love. It's great for traveling, and it's by We Are Memory Keepers. It's got the stamping platform. It's magnetic. I'm going to take that off right now because it's easier for me to do some cutting. It's got the cutting board. It's got an envelope board. It's got a bow maker. Oh, yada, yada. It's got a lot. Okay? Now, what we want to do is keep the number 5 in mind. And why 5? Well, because we are going to trim, whoops, there's an extra, the file folders at the 5-inch mark. So, I'm going to go down here and line it up at the 5. Now, I will say that this cutting the manila folder is tough on that blade. So I make sure I go up and down a couple of times. Let's see, it's still stuck a little bit. I think I'm going to have to get a new blade here pretty quick. So let me just get my scissors. I know it's hard to see. It's hard for me to see right now. Okay, cut that apart. So that's our first 5-inch part. And now we want to cut the next one at 5 inches. So our height is going to be 5 inches. And I'm not really sure why that was the height that Sarah used, but works for me. Yep, it's really, that blade is in need of some help there. And save all your little scraps. You never know when you're going to need them. And don't worry about cutting these down or any of that right now. It's all going to work out just fine in a little bit. Okay, so I have to cut down another one at 5 inches. Maybe I'm just not holding it down hard enough. That could very well be the issue. Okay, back down here to the 5. And sorry about the sound effects. It's a little rough though. Okay. And there we go. We should have 4 pieces. And we do, all 5 inches tall, like this. Okay, looking good. Now I'm going to get rid of my all-in-one out of the way. And I'm going to show you what we do next. Now, don't worry about this, and don't worry about the fact that it's too long. Not at this point. At this point, what we want to do is glue pages together. Okay, and I was such a smarty pants. I thought, oh, I know a better way. I'm going to cut it down first, and then I'm going to glue the pages. Well, yeah, if you do that, it goofs. You don't want to do that. So, okay. So, okay, here's your first folder, and here's your second folder. You want to take this first page of the second folder and the second page of the first folder, and those two are going to get glued together. Okay, you are welcome to use whatever you choose for this, but I'm going to choose to use my Fabri-Tac. Even though I hate the way it smells, I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. Okay? So, gotta clean that off. Ick. Okay, so I am just going to come over here, and I'm not going to make a pocket or anything fancy. I know I could, but I'm not going to. Okay. So close to the edge, I'm going, but not so close that it's going to leak all over the place, because I am so bad about doing that. And notice I'm only staying on this part of the file folder. You don't want to go over where the tab is and all of that. That's the second part of the file folder. Now, you don't have to use this. You could also use art glitter glue. I'm a little low on mine right now, so I'm going to hold up and use this instead. It does stink though. Ooh, does stink. Okay, so I want to bring them together and smush them down. And then take a look. Okay, and just keep on keeping on here. Smush them down, smush them down. I even separate them. And make sure, yeah, see, make sure I haven't glued to that second part. And I see they're a little uneven, go figure. I use the cutting board and it's still uneven. That'll drive me nuts. So if that happens to you, you can do what I'm doing, which is just go down and trim off that mess. The other thing I thought about too is maybe it's possible to put these together so that you don't end up with this print down here at the bottom. But I figure it doesn't really matter because you're going to be covering that up with some sort of part of the journal, some sort of a journaling page or something. So you kind of camouflage it anyhow. And notice there's a little bit of it up here. Okay, so we have our next page. So this is the last page of the second file folder. And here is the first page of the next. So we want to glue those two together. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm tilting it up so I can see where that file folder begins and ends because there is a glare in here and it's hard for me to see. So all I'm doing is going down and catching I hope you guys are all having great weather where you are. It's nice and springy and sunny. Here it's cloudy and rain expected, but it is a little warmer than it has been, so we'll take it. Okay, as long as we're not having frost, that's good, because we were having frost last week here in Michigan. Oops, there we go. I feel like that might be a little crooked. The other reason to use the Fabri-Tac is that it doesn't set up as quickly as that art glitter glue does. Boy, that stuff sets up pretty quick, so if you get things not quite right, you might be stuck with them being crooked and then have to do some sabotage. Not sabotage, camouflage. Okay, so there are the two pages stuck together, looking good, looking good. Okay, last file folder to attach, and then we're done with the construction. Okay, just trying to see where that file folder ends again. Feels like that glue has thickened up inside a bit. Might be time to add some acetone. That's why I'm grunting and groaning. I'm having to really squeeze hard to get it out. All right, last one. Let's see here. And we're just gonna rub it together, give it some time to adhere. Yeah, I don't know which one is, it's that one sticking out, so I'm gonna have to trim that one down a hair. Again, I measured. They should be perfect, but there's no such thing as perfect. And when you're making a junk journal, perfect doesn't matter. So this is going to bug me. So I am going to go down here and fix it because I know I am a perfectionist. I can't help it. It bugs me. Oh, great. Okay. So that part is all ready to go. Now, next part in terms of the construction of our journal. Next part, we get to cut it off. Okay, I told you, remember 5, right? So this is our cover. We're going to cut that down to 5. So I'm just going to slip it under here. Bring this edge where the binding is. Whoops, let me come down here a little so you can see right there to the 5. And then I'm going to slice and dice. Okay. And again, save these. They make great tags. Okay, so there's 5. Now we're going to go by 1/2 inch increments. So the next one, this one's a little thicker because it's 2 together. We're going to go 5 1/2. Okay, so gotta go over here to the 5 1/2 mark. Sorry if you saw my head. And that's a little harder to cut. Slice and dice. Okay, again, save that piece. Okay, so that's, see, they're staggered. Okay, now we're going to go to 6. Alrighty. So 6 is right there. And again, truly, if you're off a little bit by 1/8 of an inch or so, is it going to matter? Not really. Okay. So we have those done. Now we are to, 6 1/2. Okay. So gotta find my 1/2 there. There we go, ready to cut. Okay, we're gonna save that piece. And now the last one is 7. All right. And I need to open up my board just a hair. Open up the arm of the cutting board. Gonna come over here. Yes, I am. And it doesn't want to open up now. There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna find 7, which is right here. Whoopsie. Okay. 7, which is right there. Line it up. Boom, boom, boom. And we save that piece. Okay. So we are done with the cutting for right now. We have our structure all set up. So notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Told you to keep 5 in mind. So we have our staggered 5 pages of the journal. And again, we are going to finish it up. Well, not finish it up. Start moving right along with the rest of the tutorial in the next video. So if you have questions, just let me know. If you are planning on using the Hummingbird kit, which I hope you are, then you are going to, if you're doing it just like me, you're going to need to print out the kit. You're going to need this journaling card. If you don't have the wallpaper kit, then I'm sure you could choose to use some paper of your own, or perhaps one of the journaling pages or journaling cards, and some cheesecloth, two different kinds of cheesecloth if you have it, and then perhaps just a cardstock, a cream colored cardstock, some die cuts, little butterflies, some bling, some buttons. And not everybody will have this die cut, I understand that. You could probably make your own out of little strips of paper and weave them if you really wanted to. If not, you can probably just do without or come up with some other design there. Anyhow, so that's what you'll need for the next video when we do the cover of the journal. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you've been inspired and that you're going to go out and create something fun today. Bye. See you in the next tutorial.